There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Welcome to Sci-Fi Talk on the Fangirl Zone, a podcast where we discuss shows on the Sci-Fi Channel. I'm Steve.
And I'm Kim, and today we'll be discussing episode 2 of season 2 of The Ark.
Well, unfortunately, episode 2 didn't crack the top 150 cable shows for the night for the second straight week. So, very disappointed in that.
There.
Yeah.
Good show. Watch the show.
Exactly.
Well, I'll do a little quick recap and then we can get into it. So, episode 2, Kill or Be Killed. The arrival of new crew members presents questions: who can be trusted and what to do with.
I like the way they put trust in there. So, episode 2 of The Ark finds Garnet at odds with her crew regarding Kelly's fate. The outing delves into human morality in a time of survival. Is it up to Garrett to be the executioner, or is it better to be human when battling monsters? Kill or Be Killed is a little more subdued than its predecessor, but it's The Ark, so it's still goofy, fun, entertaining, and never self-serious. Like a summer popcorn flick for the small screen.
Yeah, that's a good
analogy. Yes, it is. Now, we open with Captain Garnet returning to Ark 1 with Kimmy, Alicia, Dr. Marsh, Kelly, Dr. Kabir, and Angus. Marsh takes Kabir, Angus, and Kelly to Medbay while Garnet reunites with Lieutenant Bryce and Lieutenant Lane. They spot Kimmy and the other ARC-15 passengers who hope to seek asylum aboard our titular ship. Initially, Bryce is against it. He's always against everything.
He is. He's a quick fight, isn't he?
Yep. However, Garnet insists they need help getting the ship back into flying shape. Bryce concedes, ordering the engineers to join him. She introduces Kimmy to Felix since she'll be on the security team. Of course, Felix is his stoic self.
Yeah.
Trust emerges, hoping to be of service. He reminds Garnet that he knows this vessel better than anyone. She allows him to contribute as long as a senior officer is always with him. He wouldn't have it any other way. Griff, said senior officer, appears at his side.
I mean, he's right, though, because he's got a self-vested interest in making sure this succeeds. They all do, because they have to survive.
Yeah.
And I think, that same goes for the people that came over from Arc 3. Was it Arc 3?
No, 15. Yeah. 3 was 15, the one that was destroyed by Evelyn.
Okay, so Arc 15, and I understand why they're a little apprehensive, but those people, we saw the other Arc, left, so they want to survive, and if they want to survive, they're going to have to make it work. And I feel like because of that, a little trust is warranted.
Yep.
My 2 cents. Okay, so next, Garnet informs Lane about Kelly and the bomb Dr. Marsh installed and the ladder at Evelyn Maddox's behest. Oh God, worst mother ever.
Yes.
Who does that? Who absolutely? I mean, this the whole episode is sad in my opinion for several reasons that we'll get into later. She says she asked Lane to head to the med bay and find out what she knows. Naturally, when Trust immediately sees Kelly sitting there, he lunges at her because Kelly's killed a lot of people. One being somebody very important to Trust. So he was not happy to see her. And Kelly's presence on the ship won't be well accepted by the passengers for the reasons I just
Yes.
Kind of a sticky situation. Garnet joins Trust and Ava, and they chat about repairing the FTL to travel to TRAPPIST-1. Ava claims that she keep spare parts in the storage room, but unfortunately, the debris from a big explosion destroyed that said storage room. It was kind of hard for me to tell. Like when they showed it, I was like, okay, is that room empty? There's like stuff laying all over the floor, and then I realized, I'm like, oh, are those the those
Yeah.
parts of the parts that they needed? It's like obviously this will set them back in the repair time for the FTL. Meanwhile, Alicia asks Marsh how she can help. He shoos her away since she doesn't have any medical training, but she doesn't want to leave it
No.
close to him. Lane tries to bind Kelly to her bed by tying her, straining her arm, which Dr. Marsh is like, he vehemently protests. He's like, that's not necessary.
Yeah.
Lane
And
thinks
it's
he
not
does.
like she couldn't break out of those tie.
Exactly. I mean, Lane, he absolutely thinks it's necessary. He reminds the doctor that Kelly's murdered multiple people and tried to kill Angus. Of course, she also saved him. Marsh pulls Lane and Alicia aside and explains why Kelly has a fail. This is like the sad part that I was talking about, right? So
Right.
after Earth outlawed cloning, Evelyn moved on to human augmentation. Surprise, she tried that on her daughter.
Yeah.
She hoped to create an army of soldiers. That sounds familiar a little bit.
Yes.
Loyal to her. And instead of looking at her daughter as a human being and, her daughter, she viewed her as an experiment. And Marsh only agreed to perform the surgery to install the failsafe in Kelly's implants because he knew that he could do it safely. And if he didn't agree, they would get somebody else to do it, which might end up hurting Kelly.
Right.
And Kelly did overhear all this, which is just, I don't know. It's so sad. I was like, I don't know. It's just really, really sad.
Yep. Later, Garnett, Bryce, Lane, Alicia, Felix, Eva, and Kimmy meet to discuss what to do about the ARC-15 passengers and Kelly. Kimmy makes the case for her and her fellow asylum seekers staying on the ship. Evelyn Maddox is a tyrant. They no longer want to work underneath her. Felix confronts her about ARC-3. Did she participate in murdering all its occupants? Kimmy says she had nothing to do with that. Evelyn planted supporters at every level of the ship, including Kimmy's number 2. Garnett persuades most of the council to vote in favor of accepting the asylum seekers, while Bryce and Felix allow it, but will keep a close eye on it. That's to be expected. Then Garnett pivots to Kelly. What should they do about her? Felix reveals that according to GSA protocol, the crime of murder gets the death penalty. Garnett protests this, so the gang lands on giving Kelly a fair trial. Felix will serve as the prosecutor, while Garnett will be the judge. Kimmy suggests they ask Marsh to be Kelly's defense. Garnett asks Marsh, and he rejects the idea immediately. Next in the med bay, Kabir insists she doesn't need medication. That's some baloney, girl.
I know,
You couldn't hardly stand up.
crazy.
She's also fine enough to resume her doctorly duty. Marsh orders her to remain on bed rest, though. Marsh checks on Kelly, who confronts him about installing the implant's failsafe in her. She overheard his chat with Lane and Alicia. Kelly asks if everything her mother did to her is why she's so broken. Yes. And of course, Marsh didn't think broken internally. He was thinking, broken outside, bones and stuff. And no, that's not what she was talking about, Marsh.
I know. It's I don't know. It's very sad. Now, refresh my memory. The reason why the doctor can't have any kind of painkillers, was she addicted? She was addicted to
Yes.
something. She was the first.
Yep.
Whew.
Adrenaline.
Yeah. She's gotta be careful. Plus, I think she's already been through the ringer, right? Like you just.
Oh yeah. I'm assuming that her heart's probably maybe 50% now.
Oh my God.
With all the adrenaline she was taking there for a while.
Definitely. So the council meets again to discuss the FTL situation. Kimi and Bryce have a fun back and forth. I agree with Kimi. Bryce is really, really pretty. He's like, I'm not pretty. You kind of are, Bryce. You kind of are. Unfortunately, Eva hasn't discovered a way to get the FTL navigation. The only ship with spare parts just left too. So, where are they going to get parts? And then Lane proposes that they return to ARC-3 to strip it for parts. Now, it would take them months to get to ARC-3 using the NEP. Trust chimes in that they lost the digital optical telemetry element on the four-sectional navigation array, which is like the DOTE, I think it's DOTE.
Yeah, that's what he called it.
However, there is a less powerful AFT DOTE.
Yeah.
Alicia suggests they reposition it and boost power, but one drop will fry it. But all they need is one drop to reach ARC-3.
Well,
so.
yeah, to reach ARC-3, exactly.
So, which Ava says, and I think their like thought process there is they do the jump, they reach there, they can get all the stuff and get what they need and head to Trappist. So Garnet volunteers Trust for the retrofit, which will, in his words, require immense technical knowledge. Now, I love how he just sits there and he like spouts off information like that and then gets all kinds of shocked when somebody volunteers him.
Yeah.
I don't want to go. It requires a spacewalk, and Garnet offers to accompany him because he really just doesn't want to do it. Then Marsh approaches Garnet, claiming that he's changed his mind about representing Kelly. That's probably because of the conversation we just had that we mentioned previously. He'll be her defense for the upcoming murder trial. After that, Trust has a fun time on a spacewalk, which Garnet patiently helps him through. I mean, like, this guy was like, I don't know, he was like accident prone. Like, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. He had never done a spacewalk, so yeah.
Clearly. And he's just like haphazardly doing all kinds of things.
Yeah, actually cutting his line.
Oh my God. Meanwhile, Angus wakes up to Alicia standing over. Seems to be on the mend. Alicia admits she wants to spend as much time with him as possible. Alicia and Angus in the tree. When they lean in to kiss, though, Angus mutters something about his plans. I think her watering plans before he loses consciousness and passes out. Funny. And then Alicia like walks off, but you see like daggers like from Kelly.
Yes. Oh,
she's like,
yes.
was waiting for like that dun 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 close up. But it didn't happen. But you could totally hear it. He was like staring daggers. Oh, scary.
Yes.
Trust and Garnet are hard at work on the retrofit. Homeboy hasn't had the best time outside. Sure. He vomited in his helmet. I'm glad they didn't show that.
Yes, I'm glad they didn't either.
And he lost his grip a couple times. And Garnet is like beyond patient at this point because I would be so annoyed. I would have probably let him drift. He starts getting away from this shit because he accidentally cuts his line and Garnet saves him. And I would have just been like, maybe we should just let him float. But he's a nice person.
Yep.
Elsewhere, Felix reassigns Griff to the med bay to assist Mark. After all, she has some medical know-how. And Griff isn't really like happy about that idea. She thinks that Felix is trying to get rid of her, but like, you think about it, right? So you've got a doctor in there that's taking control. That's not from your heart. And Kelly's in there too. So maybe Felix just trusts Griff to keep an eye on things.
Right. That's how I took it.
Yeah, I just don't know if. Yeah.
She didn't.
I know. Well, she should think about that. Hopefully she does. At the same time, Garnet explores Kat's quarters to reminisce about her fallen friend. There, after she takes down like a poster, she sees like this little like enclave where there's this little tablet. And on the tablet, she finds something titled the Juno Project. She returns to Medbay to visit Trust, who went there after his spacewalk. Marsh has proved Trust for duty once more. Of course, Trust is laying in the bed like he's dying.
Yes.
She asks him to unlock the tablet and tell her about the Juno Project. He explains it's a log of everybody on the ship and their optimal mate to repopulate the human race, basically. Ensure their survival. Eugenics. Later, Garnet and Lane enter the former's room, which doesn't look much better than Kat's. Lane breathes a sigh of relief that Garnet's alcohol has gone unscathed, so he can drink it.
Yes. Give me that.
Garnet is surprised that Lane approves of the Juno Project. They get on the subject of Liv. Garnet admits she was a late bloomer. Lane tells the story of how he chipped a tooth of a girl he's tried to kiss. I'm like, oh my God.
Yes,
so
that
sad.
was
embarrassing.
Yeah.
However, before anything can materialize between Garnet and Lane, Garnet is called in for the trial.
At the beginning of the trial, Kelly pleads guilty. However, Marsh persuades her to change her plea to not guilty. Felix questions Kimmy about Evelyn's plan. She told the crew that the Eastern Federation had taken over Arcs 1 and 3. However, Kimmy didn't get suspicious until she noticed the boarding party for the attacks on Arc 3 included Evelyn's daughter. Kimmy requested to join the landing party, but was denied. Evelyn probably didn't want her to discover the truth that those aboard Arc 3 weren't EF. Then it's Kelly's turn on the stand, and Felix questions her. Kelly reveals that Evelyn wanted them to retrieve the spiders and find Trust. She admits she only recalls what transpired while the boarding party barged onto Arc 3 to a point. Her memories stop well before the massacre ends, and she also doesn't remember killing Felix's husband. Felix accuses her of lying before Marsh states he can activate the implant in Kelly's brain. It'll contain her memories of said massacre. Once he switches it on, we see a flashback to the Arc 3 killings. One of her fighting buddies has access to Kelly's implant and activated it, forcing her to go on a killing spree. Back at the trial, Kelly tearfully asks Marsh to switch it off. She informs Felix that she was only instructed to kill those in EVA suits, meaning she didn't murder Robert, his husband.
I mean, like, this is like, can you imagine just finding out that this is random people could just activate you at any time? It's like you have no control over yourself.
Right, exactly.
And
I wonder
like,
she feels so
things.
broken. Yeah.
Right? And it's not like it's doing awful things, right? And then your mother's at the forefront. So wrong in so many levels.
Yes, it is.
Garnet comes to a decision, declaring that she finds Kelly guilty of murder in the first degree. However, she doesn't want to administer the death. And this is basically because it wasn't really her fault.
No, it wasn't. And Garnet sees that.
No.
Not everybody does, but Garnet does, at least.
And you just kind of feel sorry. I mean, sorry for Kelly. I know she's done some horrible things, but a good chunk of those were not actually her. But you can look at it that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she'll lock Kelly up for now and work closely with Marsh to study her implants and find a better solution for everyone. Next, Garnet leads Kelly to her cell, which was once a bath. After Garnet departs, Kelly notices a sizable hole in the wall. He peers through it to see what looks like another empty bath. Later, the gang gathers in engineering to try to jump the Arc 3 after applying the retrofit to the aft-dote. Alicia explains that the aft-dote wasn't designed to be boosted, so their power regulators will work overtime to ensure that the warp bubble they go through kind of like warp speed. Worst case scenario, warp space tears them apart atom by atom. The worst case scenario.
Yeah.
What fun is that?
Yeah.
Then they activate the warp bubble, which is at 84% integrity. Power shuts off briefly before returning. Upon the power restarting, a bolt of electricity emerges from the ceiling of one of the corridors. It slithers like a snake, winding down the hallway before entering a wall. Woo, creepy.
Yeah. Do we have a new life form on board? And is it sentient?
I was going to say, I mean, like that moves like that is an organism that has a brain.
Yes, it does. Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts on each and every episode this season. Our deadline for feedback is 6 p.m. Eastern every Friday during the season. You can send your feedback via email or audio to contact us at fangirlzone.com.
Guys, please review and rate us on iTunes and any other platforms you use for podcasts with good ratings and reviews. It helps our fans of the show find us, as there are plenty other art podcasts out there. Let's boost ours up a little bit. Tell your friends, and I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Don't forget to check out all the other great podcasts in Fangirl Zone Podcast.
And you can find those over at www.fangirlzone.com. We've got a brand new homepage now. As Sean says, it all looks pretty and new, and you can find all the podcasts we have over there, as well as a link to our contact page, which has all the ways you can get a hold of us on social. So for this episode of Sci-Fi Talk, I'm Steve. Look, Eva's pretty, okay? And she's very smart.
And I'm Tim. I have no implants. And until next time,